Hello and welcome to Rockies Recap. My name is Steven. Right there is the awesome and wonderful co host, Tom. We hope you have a good, wonderful Thursday. Tom, how's your Thursday? And we only have about 2 weeks of the season.
Pretty good. Just kind of just letting things run, enjoying the last bits of baseball season before the playoffs, which but I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes on because we'll see how things go. But all in all, pretty good. Not too bad. I'm just waiting for the White Sox season to finally be over with because they're gonna break the record. It's
Yeah.
just I just wanted to get done and move on.
Yeah, and we were talking about it a little bit before that, but
Mhm.
like you said, let's talk a little bit more positive news for us as baseball fans. The Colorado Rockies a little bit more positive than the White Sox and some other teams in baseball. And you look at the series overall. If Game One was like, oh, you didn't want to turn on the game, it was just like miserable. The pitching wasn't good. Of course, a lot of the Tigers guys, young players, they look really really good. They have a lot of bright young players that maybe you haven't heard of before. Some of us have heard before, like Carpenter, and of course Spencer Torkelson, who was number one overall a few years back out of Arizona State, I believe. I think it was Arizona State. Yeah. So the Tigers, they're an up and coming team, and we kind of knew that coming into this year. But of course, we knew that the Tigers were going to fight hard in this series because they're trying to at least get close to the wild card in the American League. Will it happen? Not sure. It's going to be close, but most likely not. That's my prediction. But we shall see. But yeah, Game One did not go the Rockies' way. They were blown out, 11-0 in Detroit. So that was like, yeah, a game you didn't want to turn on. Game two, a little bit of a better game for your Rockies. However, Ryan McMahon finally homered. I feel like, again, in the second half, he's hitting, I believe, 247. Checked right before we started. I think he's hitting 247. He got a home run, which was nice. But again, the Rockies, this is what we've seen all season, where the Rockies have struggled with runners in scoring position, especially with a high average. It's been really, really, I guess, miserable. I will say, however, that Tanner Gordon really had a rough first inning, as you can see on the box score, 6 runs given up in the first. After that, the pitching was great for the Rockies, and Gordon, he kind of did a little bit better after that first inning, but again, 3 and 1/3 innings, 10 hits allowed, 7 earned runs, no walks, 1 strikeout, and of course, two of those runs, or a couple of those runs, or I should say, several of those runs were off of 2 home runs, and his ERA goes to 8.65. But again, he's a rookie. He's only had a handful of starts. You can let it slide. I mean, he's still young. He hasn't had a whole lot of big league experience. Jake Bird, he had a good inning there. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, but 4 strikeouts. Luis Peralta, we'll talk about him in a second. He was great. And Angel Savilli, he's having a good rookie season so far as well. So the bullpen was good. It was fantastic. That was good to see. But again, like, we didn't really see a whole lot of offense in game two. Tovar, he got a couple RBIs. He got a double, his 43rd double, which, by the way, is the most by Rockies. Is it most by a Rockies rookie or player, I think, or shortstop? I need to check the stat. In Rockies history, again, it's a very, very cool stat. Let me see if I can find it on Instagram if we still have it up there. But Toby, he's having a heck of a year, and it's something that every Rockies fan, we've been kind of hoping to see from Toby, and he's been all that, right? And so it's really really promising to see. Like we said, McMahon, he got a home run in game two that kind of helped the Rockies a little bit get on the board, get some runs there, but still it was a 7-4 loss. Okay, so yesterday when Tovar got his 43rd double, Tovar, according to the Rockies, has the most doubles by a Rockies shortstop in a single season. That's more than Tulowitzki. That's more than Trevor Story. That's incredible, and we know how good those two shortstops were for the Rockies, right? And so Toby to hit 43 doubles in a single season, that's by a Rocky shortstop. That is, that's pretty incredible. So 43 doubles there. But yeah, game two, a loss. The Rockies go down 0-2 to start the series. So not great. It was like, oh boy, we hope we don't get swept, because today the Rockies had to face Tarek Skubal, who is a Cy Young candidate in the American League. Um, and he's been great. You look at that record. It's pretty good. I think it's 16-4. Um, I think coming into this game was 16-4, something like that, 16-3. But again, he's a Cy Young candidate, and so I was a little bit worried. I was like, the odds are not pretty high for the Rockies today. But the Rockies, they did get after Skubal in the third inning with a run scored with a Jordan Beck home run, his third home run of the season. And then later on in the game, the Rockies got to the Tigers bullpen from inning 7 to inning number 9. They scored one in the 7th with a Blackman infield single, which scored a run, which definitely helped the Rockies kind of win that game, because if Blackman is out, that's the end of the inning. So it was a 2-out RBI single. And in the 9th inning, we got some big hits from Jacob Stallings, which was a double, and a sac fly from Jay Cave, which ultimately led to the Rockies' 4-2 win over the Detroit Tigers to avoid the sweep. But we will say that Ryan Feltner, man, we talked about it before several times on this podcast and on the Rockies recaps this year. Ryan Feltner. He's had, you look at the record, it's not pretty, but still, it's kind of the same thing with Dakota Hudson early in the season, where the Rockies, they just didn't give the pitchers good run support. It's the same way with Ryan Feltner this year. Ryan Feltner, in my opinion, has been one of the better Rockies pitchers this year. Yeah, he's had a few rough starts. Every pitcher does, right? But we've seen him where he'll pitch really, really good games. It's just that he doesn't get enough run support. And the past couple times, Feltner has pitched out of his mind. He's been great. Again, he had 6 strikeouts today, threw about, I think, 5 2/3 innings, something like that today. He's been great. He's given the Rockies plenty of chances to win this year. It's just that the record, it just kind of shows you that the offense has really struggled this year, like we said, in runners scoring position and helping the Rockies to at least keep a close game or getting the lead. So it was nice to see that Feltner came out on the winning side today, even though he didn't get the win. It was nice to see that the Rockies were able to kind of help him out and get the win at the end there. Jacob Stallings, he went 2 for 4, had that big double, like I said. Jordan Beck, he got his 3rd home run of the season. So going to Luis Peralta, we posted this on our social media. Luis Peralta, in 8 appearances this year, in his first 8 appearances, he has a 0.00 ERA, no earned runs, with 9 strikeouts and a whip of under 1. That is really, really good. And if you have forgotten, Luis Peralta was acquired by the Rockies in the Jalen Beeks trade. And, Tom pointed out before we started that Jalen Beeks is having a pretty good time in Pittsburgh. I mean, he hasn't been bad. And, and I told Tom, because if you go to our Twitter, you can see some Pirates fans are not too happy about, losing Peralta, which, again, he was really solid with Peralta, with Pittsburgh, with I think it was in Altoona, their Double-A team, and he had a really good record. But Luis Peralta, man, he's looking really, really good in the Rockies bullpen. Same thing with Seth Halverson, who was just drafted last year out of Tennessee, and it was in the later rounds too. It wasn't like a top 3 pick. It was more in I believe the 4th or 5th round. But Halverson's been good. Vodnik, he got an appearance in today. He's been good this year. And then, Tyler Kinley closed the door. His ERA hasn't been good this year, but he's been able to close out some of these games against the Brewers, against the Braves, and of course now against the Tigers. So overall, man, I mean, in this series, we saw it again. The Rockies bullpen, they've been good. And so far in the second half, I got to say the bullpen has looked a lot better than what it was in the first half. So, hats off to the bullpen, man. It's really exciting. I'm really curious to see where this is going to go in the offseason. Like I said to Tom, the Rockies, they need a couple more guys to get into the bullpen in the offseason, because if you want to win more games and start trending in the right direction, you got to get pieces to help you win ball games. And Rockies, their bullpen is the worst in baseball by quite a bit. And I think the next team, I think 29th in baseball, is I think your Chicago White Sox. So Rockies, they got to fix that bullpen, man. And offense is, of course, a lot of rookies, a lot of young players, but the offense got to get better. So, but we're seeing some improvement. And it was a nice win today. Not the series that we kind of wanted, but at least we didn't get swept. So we'll take what we get.
Well, definitely, it's a glaring thing that Blaylock and Gordon are definitely having growing pains. But I give Gordon credit on one thing. He did allow 6 runs in the first inning of game 2. Most managers would take that starter out after probably 4 runs nowadays, but I give Bud Black credit for. I'm sure it was because they wanted to see how many innings they can get out of Tanner Gordon. So I give Bud Black credit for sticking with this guy, and at the same time, Tanner Gordon not letting it spiral too far out of control. Again, 6 runs. I know don't take it as I'm making 6 runs as a good outing. It's bad, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse given the fact that he's a
Mhm.
rookie. Yeah, but also to your point about the bullpen, other than the 6 runs given up by Molina in game one, the rest of the bullpen was scoreless. So that definitely helped give the Rockies
Mhm.
chances to win in both games, even though they were dug quite a hole early in game two. I mean, you and I talked about this a lot. There's a lot of inconsistency from the offense, and this was a glaring example. This series was a glaring example, but I'll admit, going into today's game, I'm thinking, oh crap, we're gonna get swept here because again, it's Tariq Skubal. He's pretty much I would say the favorite in the American League for the Cy Young. But we did get to him for 1 run, and we got a late inning win. Sorry, late game win, not late inning. Excuse me,
Mhm.
late game win. So all in all, it was an enjoyable series. Again, it could have been a heck of a lot worse. The Rockies didn't give up; they didn't back down, and we managed to walk away with at least one victory. And it's good momentum heading into a series against the Cubs. And as everyone knows, I'm from Chicago and a White Sox fan, and I want to see the Cubs lose. So hopefully we can. Let me just, if everyone just bear with me for 1 second, I want to check uh,
Mhm.
what the playoff standings because I think I heard the Cubs are 4 games out. Everyone just bear with me for just
Mhm.
one moment. Just look up the wild card here.
Mhm.
My computer's just doing its stinky. Okay,
Mhm.
Cubs are five. Oh yeah, that's right. The Mets are now officially taking over sole possession of the third wild card spot. The Braves are a game out. The Cubs are 5 games out. So Rockies, let's put the Cubs officially to bed when it comes to their playoff hopes in this
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
and then basically just comes down to the Mets and Braves fighting for that last wild card spot. So again, you know, I guess this is series what I've come to expect for the Rockies this season. There were some positives as you pointed
Mhm.
out. So it's good to carry the momentum into the weekend series at heading back home.
Yeah, and yeah, there's I think after today there was 15 games left of the season, so yeah, really 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And
15.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
15. And so we got somewhat of a large, a nice portion of the rest of the schedule at home, because I think there's a little bit of a homestand here, and then the Rockies head out to LA for a quick 3-game series, and that will actually be the last road games. So the Rockies, they haven't finished on the road; they still have 3 games left out on the road, but after that the rest of the games are at home, man. So really, basically, the Rockies' road season, is over. Again, 3 games in LA, but that's basically over. So it tells you how quick the season has gone by. Like I mentioned on the story today, um, it's crazy how the season's gone and how fast it's gone, even though it's been a horrible year for a lot of us Rockies fans, but it could have been worse. I mean, you could, say many problems the Rockies could have had this year. It could have been worse. Like, again, we saw some improvements this year. And like I mentioned, the power, we saw a lot, a little bit more power this year, especially out of Doyle, Tovar, Toglia, especially. And so I'm excited to see how these guys progress. And of course, there's going to be times where these players they're going to have a cold year, and it's just very disappointing in a way for me to see Nolan Jones the way he is this year. We were hoping that he was going to have some sort of like big year for the Rockies, but I think it's almost like a case of like, okay, because there's usually several guys in baseball that have that one year where they just didn't click. And again, Jones is very much still young. I mean, last year was his first full year in the big leagues. He's still young, and I think it's just like he's had one of those years where it's like nothing has worked for him. I think he'll be definitely, like we've talked about, a 2025 comeback player of the year type of player. And we're gunning that for that. We're hoping for that. Um, but yeah, I feel like again, the Rockies, they could have been better this year, and we've said this many times. The Rockies could have been better this year if this thing went right for them. Like I said, Nolan Jones. If the bullpen has been a little bit better, the Rockies, they could have had more wins. And we mentioned this, I think earlier in the year, but like last year, and I think Lux pointed out in the comments a while back that the Rockies bullpen last year was it blew like 30 leads from inning seven it's from the seventh inning to the ninth inning on. And it's just like that can't happen because if you have a good bullpen, you can win at least maybe half of those. There's going to be some that you're still going to lose, but if you win at least half of those, like, maybe 15, 16, 17 games, instead of the Rockies, winning 59, you can bump that up to maybe, 15 or close to that. And so the Rockies, they could have had 70 plus wins last year. So a lot of it has to do with, bullpen issues. Um, And so, yeah, that's why it's imperative for the Rockies to improve that in the offseason. And again, I think, getting Luis Peralta, and I know there's some Rockies fans out there are like, oh, I saw it today on our page, just like, oh, wait till we trade him, or we're going to trade him in 2 years. Just watch. And it's just like, I don't think the Rockies are going to do that if their weakest part of their team, arguably, is their bullpen. Despite however, in the second half, like I said, it's been probably the strongest point of this Rockies team. Same thing with the starting pitching too. This pitching this year has been a lot better than what we were expecting because we kind of were bracing ourselves, before the season started, like, oh boy, you had Dakota Hudson in there. You didn't know what Ryan Felton was going to do. Austin Gomber didn't have a good year last year. Marquez is out. You don't know how Freeland's going to do. Freeland was really our ace because if you remember, he pitched game 1 against Arizona. So there's just a lot of question marks where now I feel like, okay, we have the pieces to win. Now we just need to acquire more pieces on how we can build a contending team in the future in the next couple of years. So, again, we're quickly approaching the offseason. Rockies have a lot of decisions to make, not only on the pitching side, but on the lineup side as well. So it's definitely going to be a ride. So we better all hang on to our hats and just pray that the Rockies can fix some of these issues. And I think they will, because I know that it's been on their whiteboard, I guess, if you want to call it that, with their markers. They're ready to write that down and ready to get some moves going in the offseason. And I'm not expecting a huge offseason for the Rockies, but I think the moves that we will see will be more of like bullpen, because I think going in next year, they're going to really focus on, Amador, and focusing on letting the young kids play. And I'm very, very happy that they've been going full on commit to the rebuild by playing Romo, Jordan Beck, especially getting him playing time. So it's been really promising to see. I think, as we move on and start wrapping this thing up, let's head into, let me pull it up here on my phone. The Rockies, of course, they're heading back home after a long road trip, 9-game road trip out east in Atlanta. Then they went to Milwaukee and, of course, Detroit. Well, like, Tom mentioned, the Rockies will be heading home to play the Chicago Cubs, who are, trying to stay alive. Will they make the playoffs? Probably not. Again, they're kind of a little bit down there. A lot of ground to make up. Will they make it up? I don't know. I don't know if they have the team to do it, but we shall see. But the Cubs and the Rockies, they will be meeting each other for a 3-game series. Game 1, of course, will be starting tomorrow at 6:40 at Coors Field. Pulling up the pitching matchup here on the Game Day app. For some reason, it's not loading. Okay, there we go. It's starting to load a little bit. Looks like Assad will be pitching for the Cubs, who is 7-5 with a 3.14 ERA with 111 strikeouts, versus Austin Gomber, who has been good this year, 5-10. I know the record. Don't worry about it. And he has a 4.50 ERA with 108 strikeouts. So kind of even pitchers despite the ERA. Kind of both. I think they're both lefties, if I'm not mistaken. Assad might be a right-handed pitcher, but anyways, he'll be pitching for game 1. And then game 2, let me pull that up here.
It's Jameson Tyone versus hold on, it's Jameson Tyone versus Kyle Freeland.
Okay, so again, like pretty solid matchups, and I think the Rockies, they've had good history against Tyone, because I think he pitched last year and the Rockies did pretty well against him. And so, yeah, he'll be pitching. That'll be the game 2 matchup. And then let me click on game 3, see what we have for game 3.
Cubs, it's Kyle Freeland. I'm sorry, Kyle Hendricks. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's Kyle. Yeah, it's Kyle Hendricks, and then for the Rockies, it's TBD.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll see. Again, it's probably going to be like a tie block starter situation. It could be tie block, but didn't they just DFA him again? I think they did.
We did earlier in the week.
Yeah, so they did fade him. So again, we'll have to see and wait and see who will be pitching on Sunday afternoon against the Cubs. So, they're going up against some of the Cubs' best pitchers. But again, like some of those Cubs pitchers, I think they've had their moments at Coors Field. But again, you don't want to underestimate the Cubs. But still, the Rockies, they won the series last year against the Cubs, and they actually helped some of the National League Central teams like the Brewers to to avoid the Cubs making the playoffs. And I think the Rockies, they played spoiler against the Cubs last year, and it was in September too. Don't forget that. And they also played spoiler against the Giants, who were also fighting for that wild card spot in late September. So maybe the Rockies can do the same thing. I think currently they have 55 wins on the season. So if I do my math correctly, they just need 4 more wins to tie last year's win record and 5 to not clinch because we're not making the playoffs, to hit 60 wins on the season. So maybe, because again, we talked about it last time on the Rockies recap. Can the Rockies do it? Is it doable? Maybe. We'll see. I mean, again, it's not easy, but I think it's definitely doable because, again, you still have 15 games. You have 5 games to win. Yeah, why not? I mean, the Rockies, it's not like they've had these huge extended losing streaks of like 3, 4, 5 games. I think they're occasionally going to win. So I think it's possible.
If the 2024 Chicago White Sox win 9 games in 2 months this season, then the Rockies can win 5 games in the month of September. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously it's no secret I want the Cubs to lose. So let's a sweep would be lovely for me, or at least a series victory would be nice. The good news is we have our 2 lefties going to the mound, one of whom, Austin Gomber, just welcomed his 3rd child with his wife, Rachel.
Yeah, that's
awesome. So congrats. It's a girl, too. So now they had 2 boys. Now they have a girl. So Gomber's wife. So Mrs. Gomber finally gets her daughter. So there you go. I'm sure they're both happy about it. Anyway,
awesome.
Congratulations to both of them. My wife follows Rachel Gomber on Instagram.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Anytime they do something funny, she tells me, "Oh, hey, did you see what Rachel Gomber posted?" So, okay, cool. So anyway, Austin, Rachel, congratulations to the 2 of you. We're very happy for you. But all together, let's just see. This could be a good series. Like you said, we got to go back on the road. And just real quick, just for a little update, I'll give you another update on the Ohtani watch here.
Oh yeah,
he is now up to 47 home runs and 48 stolen bases. So he's getting close.
Yeah.
Honestly, again, I'm going to knock on wood with this here. Barring injury here, I think he's going to get it. He's just too talented of a player not to get there.
He could do it when the Rockies go to LA.
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, because we've seen so many games where Ohtani will hit 2 home runs in a game, and that could happen in this next series, whoever they're playing. So it could happen, and then when the Rockies come to Dodger Stadium, I mean, again, the season's over for the Rockies. Why not? I think it would be like I said, as much as Rockies fans and as all of us, we don't like the Dodgers. My family, my dad's side of the family, they live in California. However, my aunt on my dad's side, she loves the Dodgers. And so, and I think they might be going to one of the games. But anyways, she's been raving about Ohtani. I'm like, I know he's having a good year. And just like the Rockies fans, I don't want to talk about Ohtani. But, you can't ignore the fact that he's had a heck of a year. And it's just like every single baseball fan, I don't care who you are, just got to applaud it and just honor and respect the heck out of Ohtani, what he's been able to do for baseball. And it's unbelievable. And it's just incredible. It's good for the sport. And internationally as well in Japan, because I know Japan, they're trying to, the baseball's high over there too. And I think it's great that, we were able to see opening day in Japan. I think it was in Japan. Was it Korea? No, I think it was in Korea. I take that back.
It was Korea.
Yeah, Korea. But anyways, over there, it's good for baseball, whether it's Korea, Japan, it's awesome for baseball. And I think it was really cool too, for the Rockies to play the Astros in Mexico City, even though it wasn't entirely sold out at that stadium when the Rockies were playing the Astros, but still there's a lot of people. And I think Mexico City, will they get an expansion team in the future? Who knows? Would be kind of fun. Absolutely. I think it would be kind of cool to see a Major League Baseball team in Mexico City. And I think, it would be kind of nice to, have people not pay attention to Coors Field and the altitude, because up in Mexico City, I think they're 7,000 feet, they're 2,000 feet higher than Denver, but it's good for the sport. And Ohtani doing this, it's good, and we need more of this, right? We don't need less of this. We need more of this, So it's crazy. So yeah, it might happen against the Rockies. So we'll see. And if it happens, great. I'm happy for Ohtani, happy for Dodger fans for Ohtani, and so that's just great. And I think again, it's good for the sport.
It's not bad. It's not a bad. I'll say it's not a bad thing, because think of it this way: when you look at it, it's a good answer to a trivia question. For example, when you look at where was Ichiro's 3,000th hit, Coors Field.
Yep.
Where did Shohei Ohtani break the 50-50 mark? Course, maybe, or either Dodger Stadium against the Rockies or Coors Field against the Rockies. So
yeah,
I think it's a matter of time when he gets it. If he does it against us, it's fine, because I will be watching.
Yeah, if he does it at Coors Field, I want to see the ball go over the rooftop into the parking lot or onto the street. That's what I want to see. Like, come on, that's got to happen. And because it's kind of funny too, because he was in the 2021 home run derby and everyone picked Otani to win at Coors Field, and here he didn't do well at all, if you remember, in that home run derby. So maybe he'll get somewhat payback for that. And honestly, like I don't know if Otani. I would have to check out his Coors Field numbers. That's something that we'll have to pull up sometime. But it's just like you know, if we see it, it's going to be awesome. And, I'm curious to see what, if that does happen at Coors Field. My brothers will be going to, I think, the Friday game, either Friday's game or Saturday's game. And so if that happens when they're there, I'll be lucky because at that time I'll be working probably in the evening. We'll see, depending on my work schedule. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, it's good for baseball. And I think it's awesome. It's good for the sport, and just not good for baseball, but it's good for worldwide sports. Just it's awesome, and more eyes on baseball. And that's important. And we already talked about many times about him going to the playoffs, because we're going to be able to see that in October. So that'll be fun. I guess we'll finish off with this somewhat of a mini announcement.
I real quick,
Oh
sorry to
yeah, go
interrupt
ahead.
you. Sorry to interrupt you, but I got
Oh,
your
you're good.
numbers for him at Coors Field.
Oh yeah, pull it up. Yeah.
So let me just scroll down real fast. I got his numbers against the Rockies, but we just want to do Coors Field.
Mm.
Let me see, where is it? Oh, here it is. So in 11 games at Coors Field, he has 11 games, 43 plate appearances, 40 at bats. He is slashing, oh boy, 375, 419, 750 slugging for a 1169 OPS, and he has 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, a triple, 4 doubles. He has a stolen base, and that's the highlight. That's really it. So
Yeah.
pretty good.
375. Yeah, pretty good. And, a lot of those games were, of course, been this year because, of course, for all those years he was in LA. But, he did play against us last year when he was with the
Mm.
Angels. So, yeah, again, really good player, especially at Coors Field, as we know. So,
He's a legendary player.
legendary. Yeah, 375. Like, ugh. But we shall see. But yeah, as we were, as I was talking about, so again, somewhat of a mini announcement. It's an exciting one because we kind of, I want to say we might have kind of hinted at this in the last recap, or at least we mentioned it on our stories on Instagram. But we're excited because we have started a somewhat of a parent company for Rockies now, and for some of our Denver sports pages to come, or we'll be doing. And we're proud to announce that our parent company will be called 5280 Media. And this has been a process that we've been thinking about for a while. This hasn't been easy, but this is a dream that I've always been thinking about doing. It's still in the early stages of it, and again, we've been kind of getting people together, and it's not going to be starting like tomorrow. No, this is going to be several day process, if not several week process, to where we're putting people together, we're building up a team, kind of like the Avengers. You're putting together your squad, right? And you're trying to, unite, I guess. And what's the word that Captain America does in Endgame? Assemble.
Assemble.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're assembling everyone together, right? So we're doing that, and we're excited. Again, Rockies now, do not worry, we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here. But Rockies now will be basically under the parent company of 5280 Media, to where we'll be still posting, but we'll be collaborating with the main page, so that we can spread more people through that channel, through that page. For instance, if somebody's following the Avalanche, they can see that we have a Rockies page and they can follow us. So it's kind of branching out, right? So we're excited for it. And this is a big step for us. It's an uncharted territory for me because, again, I started Rockies now, a few years back, and more like 5 years back. And it was always a dream for me to, like, hey, I want to, build this into something bigger. And not gonna lie, it's a little bit frightening, but at the same time, though, I think it's a good thing for us to grow. And it's a good thing to take some of these steps, and be careful at the same time, though. But it takes a step of faith to take these steps into doing something bigger. It's more riskier, but what's more rewarding when you do it. And I think we have a vision. We're excited about it. And we might have some of those days where it might not be doing well, but you know what? We're excited about having the opportunity as Denver sports fans to come together as a community, build a fun community of Denver sports fans and cheer on our favorite teams. Not just because we're doing it for you, because we like Denver sports too. That, you know, we wouldn't be doing this podcast because, you know, we're just doing it just for fun. We do it because we love the Rockies. We do it because we love Denver sports, right? So we're excited about it. Again, you know, I think, you know, we mostly have everybody together. We have most of the team members set. We're just kind of finishing the final touches of that. Then we're headed into our next process and then our next step of getting this thing together and getting started. So again, Rockies Now will still be here. Podcast will still be the same, rolling that out. But in the other sports, there's going to be podcasts and in the future news articles, maybe even a website for that. So again, we're looking forward to it, and we're excited for what the future has for us here at Rockies Now, but also 5280 Media. And so it's going to be a fun journey, and we hope that you can come along and enjoy the ride with us, because it's going to be fun. And I hope you come on the boat with us and enjoy this fun journey as we enjoy Denver sports together. So again, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be a fun time. I think that will do it for tonight's edition of the Rockies recap. Again, we have another one coming up. Will be after the Cubs series on Sunday, because the Rockies will be having another series after that. So stay tuned for Sunday's evening's episode. It will be same time, 8:30, roughly approximately 8:30 Mountain Time, 9:30 Central Time, and 10:30 Eastern Time for that Rockies and Cubs series recap. And again, we only have a few of these left, Tom. I mean, we're coming down to the wire here. We want to finish strong before we start heading into our off-season podcast, and we start ramping those up to where we're going to have some fun content coming up. You know, once the off-season starts, because that's when the real fun begins. You know, kind of like Anakin Skywalker. This is where the fun begins. So it's going to be a fun ride, and we hope you join us. You know, as we enjoy this, you know, ride together. All right. Thank you for watching tonight's Rockies recap. As always, go Rockies.